said, Mike gave you an envelope. He says, you got a few dollars in there. They opened the envelope. There's a $100 bill in there. And they bought the present. They came back, sitting up on a shelf up there, and he says, look what you bought me. You see, I just gave them some life, something to work with. Somebody cared for them. Well, August, he's back to work 3 days a week. November 3rd, 1 year later, I called Joe and I said, Joe, how about having breakfast? We had breakfast, poured the coffee, and I said, Joe, happy anniversary. He said, wait a while. Ain't my anniversary, and you're not married. So whose anniversary is it? I said, it's ours, Joe. I saw you a year ago today. He said, I don't believe it. The next year, same booth, same coffee, anniversary. We did this for 3 years. And finally, I think it was in 86, 86. I'm at the house just before Christmas, and Joe's got a great big couch, 4 cushion couch, and a small cushion over here, a seat, and in the corner they had a big glass table. They want to put the Christmas tree in the corner. And I said, well, I'll help you move the stuff. And Joe says, no, I'll move, I'll help. So I pulled the couch out, pulled the table out, and Joe got here and June got on that side. And June says, pull, Joe. And Joe's trying to pull like this, see? And June gives it a big shove, knocks Joe right on his ass. And she says, Jesus Christ, do I have to live with a cripple for the rest of my life? Well, Joe got up, sat on the chair, and he says, Mike, she's right. What the hell am I doing here? Week after Easter, he died. See, I didn't know, but June ran up $48,000 in charge cards. And Joe had a $98,000 life insurance policy. So when he passed away, they did an autopsy on him. His inoperable cancerous brain tumor is a deflated balloon. Was not a contributing cause to his death. He just decided to die. How you like that, huh? You see, that's what you can get involved in. You're going to help people, and then they're going to say, thank you very much. And I get cards from everybody, all kinds of them. Thank you, thank you. Thanks for the miracle. You got my husband back to me. You're going to be miracle workers. If you do what I do, step by step by step. If you want to call Barry Craigsfield, I got his telephone number here, Dr. Craigsfield. You can ask about Joe Reynolds. His name is on the paper there. All right, let's take a little break, and then we can get back together and get into small work. Dee-dee-dum. I'll have a martini. Again, those of you who are not here, please raise your hand. Professor in university said to me one time, I read a book once, I said, good for you. He says, okay, those of you who aren't here, please raise your hand. I wanted that. I said, I'm here in body, but not in mind. I used to be a bastard in school.
Yeah.
Full of the dickens. All right. So far, we've been talking about, and we could have discussed this whole thing in a couple of hours. I've taken a whole day and most of the second day to tell you what hypnosis is all about, how to bring that conscious awareness from high to low. on how to get the subconscious mind in the position of dominance, and what is the effect of the subconscious mind being in that position. Could have done the whole thing in 3 hours. I'd have left you hanging fire, up to dry. So it takes a long time to pound it and push it and get you to understand. Now that we've done part of the work, what do we do with the rest of it? Up to now, you got rid of the problems. The problems are the problem books. You made the problem into a book. You took the book off the shelf and you brought it back to the problem, and you threw the problem away. Once you have eliminated the problems, and I said yesterday, who is this person? This person, for all practical purposes for your therapy, is a nobody. Got a lot of messages up there. But they came to you and says, I want to be a different kind of a person. I want you to get rid of my problems so I can do things differently. Well, got rid of the problems, but you haven't put in the new programs. So that's what we do now. So what have you done? You have cleaned house. He says, I want to be. And you say, well, who would you want to be? I want to be totally relaxed. I want to be able to enjoy my job. I want to be healthy. And I want to be a good father or a good mother or a good spouse. And I want to be all these nice things. Time for therapy. So after you get rid of all the problems, you have them sit down in a nice chair in this nice little library, a nice recliner, a nice comfortable chair. If you want to make it a couch, make any difference. And go sit in the chair or go sit on the couch, lie down and take it easy. Okay. I want you to understand what you just did, son. You're to be congratulated. You did what I call mind surgery. You got down into your library and you found your problems. You took your problems off the shelf, you threw your problems in a container, and out they went. And they're gone. And they're no longer important for you in light of today's circumstances. Why, you know, just like a surgeon may open up the area around the stomach, take out some troublesome appendix, throw the appendix in the container. Once the appendix has been removed and cast aside, can't bother the person anymore. Or like a dentist may extract a troublesome tooth. Once the tooth has been extracted and cast aside, can't bother the person anymore. And what you do, you got to do your problems, you recognize your problems, the ones I suggested, the stress, the anxiety, the cancer, the pain, the rape, whatever you're dealing with, and you threw them into a container. And then I said, go find your other problems, and you did. You took your problems off the shelf, you threw your problems away, and you saw them leave. And they're gone. No longer anymore, no longer in your memory bank, your library of knowledge, the reservoir of information, totally gone. No longer important for you in light of today's circumstances. So congratulate yourself and feel good about it. Then I go to do the testing, because now I'm ready for therapy. So now I would like to have you sit in this comfortable chair and picture and imagine that you are now the person you like to be. And now you can do the things you like to do. And now you feel like you like to feel anytime, any place, under any set of circumstances. So think about it. Think about it. Suppose you had the capacity, the power, the talent to reach way up into the sky and grab the future and bring your future down over you and into you. And you just became the kind of person you like to be. And now you can do the things you like to do, and you feel like you like to feel at any time, in any place, under any set of circumstances. So think about it. So if I were to ask you now, tell me, since you made the transition, and you're now the kind of person you like to be, that's characteristically, tell me, who are you now? And you wait, and you wait, and you wait, and they're stumbling for words because they haven't learned how to think well of themselves. They've been kicking their butts all over the place all these years, and you're saying now that you are the person you like to be, who are you? And you ask. And you say real nice. You see, this is the difficult part of the therapy for people to say that there's somebody important. So if I were to ask you, tell me, who are you now that you made the transition, you got rid of your problems, I would expect you to say to me, I am the most relaxed person in this whole world. I'm so relaxed that nothing bothers me, nothing disturbs me. But I don't stop there. I'm so relaxed and so comfortable, I'm always in control of what? Everything I do, everything I think about, and how I feel. That's what's in the books, isn't it? I'm in control of everything. And guess what? I love who I am. I think I'm terrific. First time they ever thought well of themselves in a long time. Then I'd expect you to say to me, besides being the most relaxed, the most comfortable, the most person in the most control, I'm also a very compassionate person. I'm an understanding person. Understanding person means what? You understand we're all different. We think differently, we act differently. You're understanding that you're able to live with other people and their beliefs and their understanding. You're an understanding person. You're a caring person. And I'd say, you'd say to me, I'm a lovable person. Joyful? Oh, you bet I am. Interesting? Yes. Happy? Oh, you bet. You see, we're adding whatever we want to put in there. More than they expected to ever get. Besides that, I want you to understand that I'm a competent person. Capable beyond your expectations. That's me. I'm totally successful in everything I do. Because whatever I do, I'm the best at. I'm honest, I'm trustworthy, and I'm reliable. That's me. Would you like to be that kind of a person? He'd say, yeah, sure. If you want to be that kind of a person, you have to tell yourself that's who I am. Because there has to be a message there before the conduct happens. Everything that happens is controlled by what you think. The thought has to be there first. And then you become the person you think you are. But you have to tell yourself, I am that kind of a person. And you repeat it all over again. Did I say to you, well, tell me. Now that you can do the things you like to do, what do you do? They're lost again. They came to see you because, you see, they can't get into an elevator or ride an escalator, afraid of something. Well, since you got rid of your problem, I'd expect you to say to me, hey, riding an elevator for me is the most easiest thing in the whole world. So now you get them doing the things that they couldn't do before. As a matter of fact, let me tell you, I expect you to say to me, every step I take towards the elevator causes me to feel more comfortable, more pleasant, more peaceful, my whole mind and my whole body. And when I step into the elevator, guess what? Causes me to relax more than anybody else in the whole elevator. What a way to travel. You push a button, zingle, you're gone. So easy, no effort. Total and complete safety, because they built it for me. Yeah. It says this has been inspected. Inspected by people. They want to make sure that I travel that in complete safety. Yeah, that's what they did. They built it for me. That's me. I do everything that I have a need to do. Drive over bridges, why that's nice, they built the bridge for me. They put even guardrails on there so I don't get fall off. They built it so it's, holds me in the car up there. So when I go over there and I look around and says, hey, all these people driving and riding on my bridge. Yeah, that's what they're doing. They built it for me. Total safety. That's me. And I like who I am. I think I'm terrific. Why, I'm the best in what I do, none better. Never second best, I'm the best. So that's what you do. Now you got them doing the things that they couldn't do before. You get rid of all the emotions, and you put them in that position. You get rid of the fears because now they're doing the things they couldn't do, that for them was fearful. Hey, riding in an airplane, oh, I tell you something. Every step I take down that ramp to get into that plane causes you to relax and causes me, if they're going to say it to you, feel more comfortable, more pleasant, more peaceful. I step into that plane, and guess what? They built that plane for my specifications. For me. And I go over and I sit down in my seat. And I sit down nice and comfortable, totally relaxed. Well, you know what they even did? They put a strap there to make sure I didn't fall off like a little kid. See? And I strap myself in there, and I sit there, you guess what? How nice. Got somebody to fly the plane for me. And when I'm sitting there relaxing comfortably and pleasantly, because each passing moment I sit in a chair causes me to relax more and more. And then it comes along a nice young girl and she says, would you care for something to drink? Would you care for something to read? Would you care for a pillow? Would you care for a blanket? Why, they're there to take care of me. What a way to go. You're just like you're flying in, up there, sitting on a nice big couch at home. Nothing to do. Enjoy myself. What a way to travel. Look out there, there's nothing to cause me any problems. I can't bump into a plane, I can't bump into a car, bump into the cloud and I keep on going, no problems. And then when we're all there, they just kind of nice and easy bring the plane down and they make a nice comfortable landing just for me. They text me to the door and I can get right out. What a way to go. You see, you take the whole scenario, the whole picture, you make everything they do, everything that happens, comfortable for them. Riding the elevator, walking up the stairway, the heights, looking over. Hey, this is nice. Look way down there. Wow, what a view down there. People down there say, look up and says, wow, what a view up there, you see? What a pleasant place. How nice it is. I am relaxed in everything I do. The thought has to be there first. I have to think I am that kind of a person. This is the things I do. We talk about emotions and feelings. You put in the opposite symptom and feeling, you get rid of the old one. So now who is this person? You put a program in here. They come in and says, I am this kind of a person. They didn't like it, and you change it. You put other programs in. You see, the subconscious mind says, hey, brain, what's this not thinking about? He thinks he's the nicest guy in the whole world. We have to carry out the messages. We have to make him in the image of his thoughts. That's what you tell the person. Your subconscious mind says, brain, this guy thinks he's the kind of a person, or this woman is. We have to make him in the image. The thought's got to be there first. So whatever you want this person to do or to feel in the chair, you tell them that's who they are. All right, we get into a little other things. Quit smoking. The very thought of putting cigarettes into your mouth. You read my chapter? 31 harmful chemicals. Most harmful chemical is polonium, P-O-L-O-N-I-U-M. You probably never heard of it until you read my paper. And what does it do? It destroys the mucous membrane in your body. What are you talking about? Subconscious mind says, you mean I've been getting this guy to smoke and I'm killing him? How stupid can I be? Why didn't he tell me these things? Now we add a logic and reason to it. The second most harmful chemical is hydrogen cyanide. Yeah, cyanide. The polonium destroys the mucous membrane. You got it in your mouth, your throat, the channels in your lungs, your eyes, the arteries of your heart, your body, and the valves in your heart, your stomach. You've got this wet, sticky mucous membrane in the opening of every opening of your body. That's your inside protection. And it destroys it little at a time. And you understand, like putting sandpaper to your arm. You keep rubbing it, it never heals. Now you got to cover it with something else, but you can't do that inside. And now the germs, the bugs, and the filth gets right into the flesh and into the body, and now you got a problem. That's why smoking is harmful. Read the label. It says causes cancer, emphysema, lung disease, heart attacks. You made a commitment. So each and every time you just think about putting it in your mouth, your very body rejects the suggestion, causes you to feel so uncomfortable, so nauseated. You can make the cigarette taste like smoking rubber. Anything. Repulsive. Totally repulsive. Tell me, Joe, what has been so repulsive for you that you wouldn't put in your mouth? Tell me. What would you say?
Dog poop.
What?
Dog poop.
Dog poop. How about you?
Cat food.
Cat what?
Cat food.
Cat food? Oh, okay. How about you? Liver. How about you? Anybody ever change a baby's diaper here? Did you ever get your finger stuck in the poo-poo? Huh? And then you go and lick your fingers? Whoa! The person has that image and it turns their stomach, you see? It's not the fact that you put it in your mouth, it's the fact that you thought about it. And thinking about putting a cigarette in your mouth is just as repulsive as all of the other things we decided was so repulsive we put in our mouth. You know what logic is? If A equals B and C equals B, A and C are equal. So you're saying dog poop is repulsive, liver is repulsive, baby poop is repulsive, and cigarettes are repulsive. They're all equal. And you don't put repulsive things in your mouth. Not the cigarettes, not the baby poop, not the liver, not anything else. You put a logic in it. Subconscious mind hasn't had the benefit of this, and that's what you're doing. So you tell the person, this is who you are, what you do, and this is how you feel under these set of circumstances. You're putting in new emotions, new symptoms, new feelings, new thoughts, and new ideas. The thought of putting it in your mouth turns your stomach. The thought of you putting cocaine back into your body is totally and completely unacceptable, intolerable, absolutely repulsive. One step, the next step, the main step. And for you, things that are totally repulsive is not in your body. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Your body is too precious. You see, we talked about the precious body, about the I love me way back then, as you wrote on the chalkboard. I love me. Body is the most important thing you're going to own in your whole life, and it's the only one. And you take care of it. You see, we did start a little therapy way back when. We're putting the icing on the cream and the whole thing out of now. So you're taking their thought process and say, hey, you think about it, and it turns your whole body inside out or upside down. Nauseated to the point, your subconscious mind says, brain, this is not for me. So you just get all those muscles in the stomach and you tighten them up. And you squeeze the juices in there up, up, into the throat and out of the mouth. Got to wash it out of your system. The very thought. That's all it takes. Because the thought is always there first before the conduct is ever there. Same thing with alcohol, same thing with drugs. If you like, you can add alcohol. You know what alcohol does, you jerk? Alcohol gets into that brain fluid. That's right. It messes up those transmissions from one neuron to the other. So when you had too much alcohol up there, you see those messages don't go to the other one, it goes someplace else. Or the messages get burned out in the alcohol. So when you try to walk, you're thinking about it, and guess what you're doing? You're falling all over the place because you see the brain isn't working because of the alcohol. Then when you try to talk, you go, blah, 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 blah. You can't say anything because you see the alcohol messes it all up. And you try to see something, and all the lines go all different directions, and there's all kinds of lights around. You can't see anything. You see what happened? Is the alcohol messed up the fluid in your brain. That's right. That's not for you today, not tomorrow, not ever. And if they're committed, you're putting in message in there, the subconscious mind says, what the hell's going on here? Nobody told me this before. I thought drinking was relaxing the person, unwind, because he says, I have to unwind, so I need a couple of martinis. So that's why we got him to drink a martini, so he could relax and be comfortable. Well, this guy's been saying, I smoke a cigarette. Oh, it makes me feel wonderful, totally relaxed. So we got the cigarette so we relax the body. And you mean we've been killing this body? Oh boy, no more of this baloney. Into weight. What is there about weight, overweight, that physically is harmful? Come on, girls. Anybody study that? Can't hear you. Put your hand up.
Heart attack.
Heart attack. I said, what is there about weight that's so harmful? And she says, heart attack. How about a sore foot? You see, you didn't say anything to me. You didn't answer my question. Can't hear you. Excess fat in excess fat is a risk. What's excess fat? How much is excess? What's normal? Don't know what you're talking about. You see, you're using words that I have to interpret, and subconscious mind says, I don't comprehend, forget it. Every pound of flesh on your body, every pound of flesh contains 200 feet of tiny capillaries. Hey, that's the blood vessels. And you said you want to lose 50 pounds? 50 times 200 is 10,000 feet. That's 2 miles that your poor heart has to push and service those things for no good reason. And you can't afford to overwork in that pump for no reason at all. And for every pound of flesh, you got 250 feet of tiny wires called nerves. And your poor brain has to monitor all that for no reason whatsoever. 12,000 feet. That's more than 2 miles. You can't afford to blow the fuse. Subconscious mind says, oh shit. You mean we've been doing this all the time? Getting her to eat because it makes you feel comfortable? Oh ho, no more. Okay. Since I don't know and you don't know what is normal and what's excessive, now we have to put a program in to eat. How much do we eat? More than we need, isn't that right? That's why we're heavy. How did we get this way? What was the mechanics of getting excessive weight on? Somebody want to tell me that?
Not using up the energy that you eat in food.
Not using up the energy.
I thought.
We eat for reasons other than to
I don't care why you eat too much. What happens when you eat too much? What's the mechanics?
Turns into fat.
Pardon?
Not knowing when to stop eating.
What's the mechanics? You put something in your mouth and it ends up in the body. What's the mechanics? Come on. You see, I got to tell you, Mary, of all the food you eat, 80% or 90% ends up in the sewer. That's right. 10% ends up in your body. You only extract 10% of what you eat and make into body tissue. 90% ends up in the sewer. So to begin with, you just process and put out 90% down the sewer. And if you put on 50 pounds, that means you ate 500 pounds of food. 450 ended up in the sewer, and 50 ended up in your body that you never needed in the first place. Let me tell you what you did. You took the food, you put it in your mouth, you chewed on it, and you swallow it, got down to your stomach. And in the stomach, you put some juices into it to break it down into mush. Then you passed it into the intestines, and there you digested it. You extracted from what you eat certain nutrition, and from the nutrition, you created new cells. And you put those new cells in your body. And you didn't need it in the first place. So let me tell you, you wasted 500 pounds of good, honest food. And you're worrying about throwing away a half a piece of bread. That's what you did. Now tell me, Mary, if you had a car and you drove the car during the day and you used up 3 gallons of energy, but each morning you put in 5. If you did this for an extended period of time, let's say 1 month, put in 5 and use up 3, how much energy would you have in that gasoline tank at the end of the month? Tell her, 60 gallons of gasoline. And if your tank was made of expandable rubber, you did this over an extended period of time, it wouldn't be long before the gasoline tank is bigger than the car. Isn't that right? And she'd say, yeah. Tell me, Mary, how do we get the gasoline tank back to normal? Now you got the wheels going. Well, I wouldn't put any in, but you have to put some in. What would you put in? Well, I put in less than now you need. Okay, so let's assume, for example, that you put in 1 gallon and used up 3. And over a period of time, the gasoline tank got smaller and smaller and smaller. And it got to be the same size. Once you get it to the same size, what would you do with it?
Wouldn't keep adding to it
What would you do to it?
once it's the same size.
Same size, what would you do to the gasoline tank? What would you do with it?
Put in what it needs.
What is it?
Put in the amount of gas that it needs.
That you need to get.
You put in the gas that you use up,
Stop.
Right.
All right. That it needs.
not that it needs, okay?
You use it.
You see, Mary, you're like that gasoline tank. You put it in and put it in, put it in. So I want you to understand, you already ate next month's dinner. You see, every bite that you didn't need, you stuck it here, you stuck it there, you stuck it everywhere. Now let me tell you something, you see. Not only did you put it under the skin, you pushed it out. You got a chest cavity surrounded by ribs, and that cavity is reserved for the lungs and for the heart. They have to open and close and open and close. And guess what they're doing? They're opening against those potato chips. They're banging against that ice cream. They're banging against that chocolate you put in there. And they're saying, what are you doing, Mary? No wonder I can't breathe. And she says, yeah, I can breathe. That's right. You got abdominal cavity reserved for your intestines and a few things, and guess what? When they want to move around, they can't, because you know what? You got that bread and butter in there, you got that potatoes and gravy in there, you got the chocolate pies in there. Hey, You're stuck in every nook and corner. That's why it's not healthy. So what are we going to do, Mary?
Go to the library.
We're already there. From this moment on, and for the rest of your life, until you decide to make another change, you only eat 1/2 of what you normally eat at a regular meal. 1/2, maybe 1/4, maybe 1/8, 5 bites of Ritz cracker. Whatever the need is, if they want to get rid of it fast for some reason, they need some surgery or something, get rid of it faster. But you always put something in, you don't leave it without anything. You got to keep the organs and glands working. So eat 1/2 of what you normally eat at a regular scheduled meal. Now, hear me loud and clear. Whenever you do the therapy, whatever therapy it is, you eliminate the event that they're participating in, smoking, alcohol, drug, excessive eating. You can't stop there. You must also take care of the emotion and the feeling that accompanies that event. People do things because, you see, it makes them feel better. So if you take away the event and you didn't take care of the emotion and the feeling, they're right back where they started from. So when you've eaten 1/2 of what you normally eat at a regular meal, you are full and you are stuffed and you're totally satisfied and you're contented. And that feeling of fullness and satisfaction lasts from that meal until the next regularly scheduled meal. And now you have no desire, no need in between meals because you're full from meal to meal. And you have no need and no desire to eat the second half of your regular meal. And you do feel comfortable, contented, satisfied, pleasant, peaceful, joyful. Hey, don't stop. Put the butter on. Add on to it. Without the second half, without in between meals. In between meals, it means from breakfast to noon hour, nothing from noon hour to the evening meal, and absolutely nothing from the evening meal to the next breakfast, which is also between meals. And you'll be surprised how fast they get full and how long it'll last. So if they have some surgery, you can say, 1 Ritz cracker cause you feel so comfortable, so pleasant, so peaceful. 1 bite, 1 mouthful, whatever you want, whatever the need is. And I say to them, you put it on 1 pound at a time, and that's how you're going to take it off. And you add one more thing. There's no 1 pound in the scale that's more important than the other pound. So it doesn't make any difference. Losing from 225 to 224 is just as easy and requires no more effort than lose from 195 to 194. If they say to you, you know what, I can't go below 185, I get stuck right there. So what do you say to them? From 185 to 184 for you is the easiest pound to lose. And they'll slide right by it because they put the block there. They said, I can't, and you just got rid of it. And they're going to call you and say, guess what happened? He says, I know. You got past 184. She said, yeah, I'm down to 180. Didn't know it. So you have to use a little logic and reason with the therapy. Okay. So you tell them that now do the things that they like to do. And they're comfortable, satisfied doing the things. And they're absolutely comfortable, contented, and satisfied without the things that they decided to eliminate. If you don't take care of the emotion, the whole thing's been wasted. Totally wasted. What drives a person back to the cocaine? Tell me, what does it? Emotion. The desire. Desire to do something to make them feel better. Is that right? Yeah. If I get another shot or a sniff or something else, hey, that's going to make me feel good because I can't stand this emotion. You said you don't take the cocaine anymore. I says, but if I don't, what am I going to do? And you say, when you think about it, it causes you to feel totally upset, frustrated. And all you have to say is, I don't do it anymore. When he say, I don't use the heroin, I don't do cocaine, I don't do the marijuana, the very thought causes you to feel so comfortable, so contented. So what does it take? Just a thought, Joe, that's all, just a thought. You see, and I can't think for you. So you have to say, hey, I don't use it anymore. I don't use the cocaine, I don't use the heroin, I don't take the drugs. I don't do that. That's all you got to say, I don't do it, and that thought causes you to feel so comfortable, so pleasant, and so peaceful. Why does it work? Let's go back to square one. What? Because it's true. I told you I'd come back to it again and over again until you look at me and say, yeah, it's true. You have to understand what we're doing now. All the time we've been talking about is all I'm doing is getting you to think. If you think you are this kind of a person, that's who you become. And I demonstrated here. I said, guess what? There's no way that you can put your legs out. Your knees are locked in that position. Were they? Not until I locked them. And I said, you can't even move your arms. It was after what I said it became true. I said, you can't stand up. After I said it, that's when it became true. It wasn't that way before I made this statement. So the statement has to be there first. I am this kind of a person, and subconscious mind says, hey, guess who he thinks he is? We have to make him in the image of his thoughts. It becomes true after the message is there. So if you want a person to be somebody, they have to say, yes, that's who I am. This is what I do. And this is how I feel. This is the way I conduct my life from here on in. No more cocaine, no more drugs, no more excessive weight, no more smoking, and boom, 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 the whole thing. No limitations, no restrictions, no inhibitions. You can handle anything emotional. All we're talking about is emotions and events. We're not talking about physical conditions. So somebody says, yeah, but guess what? You take that heroin, that cocaine, you got some damage to the body. I said, so what? Yeah, you can't separate those two. It's one and the same. Pain is part of your body. And I say pain is not part of your body. You handle the emotions differently. You handle the physical body separately. So all we're talking about up to now is the symptoms, the feelings, the emotions. That's all. Why does a person do anything? They have a desire. They get a response from it. They have a need to bring on something that's wonderful. Why do you eat? Hey, it makes you feel comfortable. You sit there and say, well, let me see, I used up 200 calories, so much energy, and now I got to put in 2 pieces of bread and butter and a glass of orange juice and so forth to replace. You don't do that. You put it in until you feel comfortable and you quit. What you put in is your choice, whether it's nutritious or not. As therapists, don't prescribe a diet unless you're qualified also to handle that. All you're going to work with is the amount of food they're going to eat. 1/2 of your regular meal. And I say, I don't care if you eat the potatoes or steak, because your body's going to tell you what you're going to have, because your body's going to tell you what you need. That's right. You're going to look at the greens and look at the meat, and you're going to eat the greens if it's what your body needs. If you need a banana, the banana's there, you're going to eat it. You'd be surprised how much your body talks to you if you listen. It'll tell you what you have to have. Listen to it. When it says, we're done, leave it alone, leave it alone. So when your body says, hey, we've had enough, that's it, you'll listen. And that's why you teach them self-hypnosis, because you're going to put the same messages in over and over again, and they become the person that they say they are. That's why it works. If you want something to happen, you create it by how you think. Any questions on what we're talking about now? Yes?
Michael, will you be able to do a demonstration of showing us with smoking or diet or something like that so we can get the lingo?
You've got the smoking on script.
Not live.
Pardon?
You won't be able to do one.
I may have time and maybe not. On tomorrow, oh, by the way, anybody else here besides the woman that talked to me that has a cancer patient that might be available tomorrow so we can work with? How about an AIDS patient? You got anybody that you can't treat? Anybody that's in difficult situation? Relative, a cousin, outlaw, in-law? Yes?
I'm not treating this person, but she is a cancer patient.
I don't care. You got somebody who want to be treated?
Yes.
Call her up tonight. Have her here tomorrow at 9 o'clock. All right? And tell her it's free. Okay. You see, on the receipts I send out, I said, if you got somebody that has cancer or AIDS, you want them treated, have them here tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. We'll work with them. You'd be surprised what one session will do for them. And we get their wheels going around. And if they continue the therapy that we give them, they might end up being totally cured. Yes, sir?
If the truth is totally accepted in an absolute way by the subconscious mind, why go through the logic of the poison of the system? Why not just get right to the point?
Like what?
Well, you won't smoke. You will find it tastes like feces.
Okay.
You won't eat.
Why not give more? You're not going to be successful with everybody with one therapy. Everybody is not committed. Everybody doesn't have the same idea. You're working with different thoughts and different ideas with different perceptions. So you can add a few more to it. And adding a few more extends your line of success. That's why I say, you say you're comfortable, satisfied. You don't stop there. You're comfortable, satisfied, contented, happy in mind and body. Hey, just put it on. The more you put on, the more you add to it, the better results you're going to get. Some people want to be contented, some people want to be satisfied. Some people want to be full. So you put them all in. I'm contented, I'm satisfied, I'm comfortable. From meal to meal. And all of a sudden they start losing weight and they're full faster. You say, hey, this is nice. I had a couple, a husband and wife came in just about 2 weeks ago and worked with them together. I don't usually do that, but they came in late, like 8 o'clock at night, and I got 2.5 hours to work with. And I was going to work till 10 o'clock or 10:30 and start the next one at 11 o'clock. My business doesn't interfere with my sleeping. Put them both together. And they're both losing weight. And they're full faster. They're about 48, 49 years old. And contented and happy. Wife is happy, doesn't have to cook as much. He doesn't have to buy as much food. Everybody's happy. They're contented, satisfied, comfortable. And he lost 6 pounds the first week, and the second week he lost another 8 or 9 pounds. I guess the 15 or 16 pounds he lost in 2 weeks. He had what was known as, in Milwaukee, a beer belly. It came out like this. Now it's about half. I said, hey, look pretty good. He says, yeah, lost a few pounds. He said, the strange thing is, he says, never hungry anymore. You see, I can work all day long from 8 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. I may have my coffee and 2 pieces of toast for breakfast, and that's about it if I'm busy. Not important to eat. Because it's 12 o'clock noon, you think I have to eat? No. Eat when I'm hungry. I haven't gained or lost any weight in the last 25 years. I've been the same all the time. Eat like a horse. Went out last night and had some seafood. They had the nice big rolls there, warm rolls. Dave and I were over here Thursday night, had food here. They brought the whole big basket of nice, warm, fresh rolls, butter on there. I tell you what, about a dozen rolls. And I says, could you bring us another basket? Between he and I guess I had about, he probably had 4 or 5, and I had the rest of them. One woman that I was dating with, I take out once in a while, she says, do you realize, you know, you get Italian place and they serve you a big loaf of bread, you cut it up, put the butter on there, see? She says, 350 calories per slice? I said, so what? It's only filler. I put it in and I send it through. I don't process it. You see what you can think? That's me. I'm putting it on the conscious side. I don't have any problem with that because I'm not pre-programmed with a different program. So on the conscious side, I said, that's it. I just run it through. I had a woman that went to the bathroom once every 10 days. And she's like this, like the bell. And I said, Linda, tell me, how often you go to the bathroom? And she says, about once every 10 days. Can anybody tell me what the body is doing for those 10 days? Pardon? No. No. The body is processing what's in the intestines. Instead of 10%, they're taking out 25% of what you eat and putting into body tissue. That's what it's doing. I said, Linda, you got to pass it through. So we got down to the immune system. I said, hey, you guys, I'll tell you what you do. You go through that body and get some of that fatty tissue, and you break it down. You take all that fatty tissue and you lubricate those intestines. Flush it through. About 3 days, she's going 4 times a day. She called me after about 2 weeks. She said, would you shut it off? But guess what? Lost 60 pounds in no time.
Wow.
That's right. And turned out to be real nice and got married. Just a minute. And Mitzi and I were in Las Vegas. Before we left, dropped the wedding present off at the house. And I said, where are you going for honeymoon? She says, Vegas. Where are you staying? She says, Excalibur. I said, strange, that's where I'm staying. I said, when are you getting there? She said, on Sunday. Oh, I said, I'm leaving on Sunday. But I said, I'll tell you what I do. I'll meet you in the lobby. She said, well, how do you know you're going to meet me there? I said, I just told you that. I'll meet you in the lobby Sunday morning. But she said, you won't. I said, I'll meet you Sunday morning in the lobby. Okay, that's it. I took off. And Sunday morning, Mitch and I came down on the elevator and walked over. I said, well, I guess Linda and Larry are here. So I says, oh, there they are. Walked over there. I says, how are you? See? Shook their hands. Come on, I'll buy you a wedding drink. Went to the bar and had a wedding drink. And he said, how do you know we were here? I said, I told you I'd meet you here. You understand what's going on up here? My subconscious mind says, we got to go find these people. We got to go downstairs when they're there. My subconscious mind is not within the confines of my head or my body. Does things for me. Can send them anywhere I want to send it. I go to the White House all the time and listen to the conversation. I got in trouble one time, but that's all right. Okay. You see what you can do with that mind of yours? Let's not put any limitations on it. Unlimited capacity if you just put the right message in. Do for me all these things I have a need for you to do. Ask. Ask. If you ask, you're going to get it done. You don't ask, nothing happens. The brain has nothing to follow if the message is not there, the request is not there. This is who I am, this is what I do. If I think I'm that kind of person, that's who I become. One fast note before I get off on another tangent. Okay. Are you the same person now as you were when you came in at 12 o'clock? Well, where are you different? How are you different?
Have more experience.
No, you. Your body. Are you the same person? How about you, Don?
There are new skin cells. We have new skin cells.
New skin cells. How about liver cells?
Liver cells.
Kidney cells. How about new blood?
Yep.
How about immune system cells?
Yep. All of those.
Hey, wow. You mean I'm different than I was when I came in here? I said, yes, you are. Every day you build new cells from what you eat. We'll get into the immune system after a while. I'll give you an example. Every day you build 1 billion immune system cells. Just as immune system cells. It got nothing to do with the blood cells or the tissues or anything else. The heart, the liver, kidney, nothing else. The hair, and so forth. And scientists say that we are changing our body totally every 7 years. Is that right? So I say, if I'm only 7 years old, how come I look so old? How come? Why? Did you ever figure that one out? Took a little time, but I got it figured out. Yes?
Because every cell in the body has a mind and a memory. We keep programming it with the same thoughts.
Oh, every cell has a mind and a memory. Wow. Every cell has intelligence, but not every cell has a mind or a memory. Every cell has intelligence because it is combined with genetic information and DNA. That's the intelligence. But every cell can't think for themselves.
Not for itself. We do the thinking.
Well, then every cell doesn't have a mind. But every, yes?
We have a preconceived notion that we're supposed to get old?
Possibly.
We have a blueprint.
But the cells I built today, they're 1 day old. They're not old. They're new cells. They're young cells.
The duplicates of the same tissue,
What is the same tissue?
same DNA plan.
No. You build the new cells in the image of the old cells that they replace. That's what I figured out. So the new cells are made in the image of the old ones. They're not new cells in time. They're not old cells in time. They look like old cells, but they're new. And they only last so long, and then they go. Then the new ones that replace them are in the image of the ones they replace. So we're always replacing in the image of the ones that just died. And then they grow older. They die, and older. So about 8, 9 years ago, I thought, if my theory is true, if this sucker runs this body, and if in a state of hypnosis I tell his brain what to do, let's change the whole damn setup. And somebody says, and your genes. I said, that's okay. I'll just change my genes. And guess what? Scientists are just beginning to understand that we can change genetics by how we think. Okay. So I said, hey, brain, I don't like what you're doing. From now on, until I tell you differently, every cell that you build from today and tomorrow and every day, you build these cells in the image of the cells that I had when I was 20 years old. You make them young, strong, energetic, healthy, protective cells. And an image I had when I was 20 years old. I'm sick and tired of these old ones. I don't need them, don't want them. Guess what? See? 2 years ago, I was in Boston. We went to Anthony's on Pier 4. Yeah. we had a group that came from the seminar on my birthday. I celebrated 2 years ago my 75th birthday. Today, I'm 77. Not today, but you know, last April. I like who I am. I think I'm terrific. You see, I'm going to tell you a little experience before we get into Zamia. 2 years ago in May, after I was here, the month after, I was here in April, in May, I'm at home and I've got a patio section next to my swimming pool. It's kind of a place where I can walk across or walk under and get out of the sun. Well, next to it, I had a great big tree, and we had some hot weather a year before that and kind of burned out some branches in the great big 60-foot tree. So I decided to cut the lower branches off and took the old branches across this patio section into the alley, dropped them in the alley. 9 o'clock one Saturday morning. Well, I'm coming back from the alley back to the tree, and the roof gave way. And I went through the roof. It was flats, 1x3s across. I went through there, my feet got tangled on the clothesline. I flipped upside down, I came on my head, and I banged myself pretty good. I put a 9-inch fracture on my neck, on my head, from the back of my neck across the side here. I was bleeding out of my ear. It was just pouring out. Mitzi come running over, my neighbor come running over. They called the ambulance, and one guy says, where should we go, John C. Lincoln or St. Joseph's Hospital? The guy says, got to go John C. Lincoln because this guy is not going to live to St. Joe's. Well, I got to John C. Lincoln, and everybody gave me a 10% chance of living 12 hours. And they said if I survived 12 hours, I'd be brain dead and blind. Because of my age, I can't heal myself. I'm sitting on the gurney in the emergency room, and my son called me from Florida, and they brought the telephone in, and I handed the telephone to the doctor. He said, I want to talk to the doctor. I said, over the doctor here. And the doctor said that. We can't do anything for him. Can't operate because he's bleeding. No point in taking the pressure out because it's already gone. And it's pouring out of my ear. It was all over my back patio. And he said, your father's got a living will. He said, let us know because we can pull the plug because he ain't going to last any longer than 12 hours. Guess what I did?
Told him to go to hell.
Exactly. I said, bullshit, I ain't intent to die. I said, Brian, we got a problem. All those capillaries. And you got to do it now because if we wait longer, you and I are gone. And by 8:30 at night, the bleeding pretty well stopped. I mean, it was pouring out like a shoo, shoo, shoo. Next morning, about 11:30 in the morning, doctor comes walking in. He says, hey, you look pretty good. And I said, yeah, no thanks to you. He said, what do you mean? I said, you made 4 mistakes yesterday. He said, yeah, what I do wrong? I said, not what you did, it's what you said. I said, you said that I got a 10% chance of living 12 hours. He says, that's right. And you said that if I live 12 hours, I'm brain dead and blind. He says, you're right. And you said because of my age, I can't heal myself. He says, right. I said, you didn't understand. You're talking to a 20-year-old kid. Like what I told him. He said, the record shows, he says, that you're not 20 years old. I said, I don't care what it says, that's who I am. He said, good for you, and walked out. I ain't seen him since. I'm here because I said that's who I am. This is what I do. So when I talk about experiences and about energy, hey, you're looking at somebody who knows what he's doing. 9th, they sent me home 4 days later. Right from the intensive care. Get rid of me. They didn't like me. My discharge paper says I've got a basal fracture. And it's a little bloody. I called my other doctor and I said, hey, Alan, I said, I've got a problem. He said, quick, another MRI. We want to know, are you bleeding up there? You're getting filled up with blood. Back in another hospital, MRI, no bleeding, and my basal skull fracture was not evidenced. Healed in 2 weeks. Doesn't sound possible, does it? And I can give you, and I can show you who wants it, copies of my papers. You see, there's no limitations of what you can do if you take time to do it. For yourself or for somebody else. That easy, that simple, let's not make it complicated. I am 20 years old, I like who I am, and get all those cells up there and we'll seal all the capillaries. You see, I know I can do this. I told you we did an operation with this guy up here at Olin Work. We stopped this bleeding. I said, hey, if I can do it for him, I can do it for myself. So let's get it done. Seal the capillaries right away. Got it done. So you do the same thing. You're going to look at you and say, hey, there's a miracle worker. Yes?
I want to extend your theory. I'd like to know, when you're conceived, what thought makes you grow?
When I'm conceived, you mean Immaculate Conception? When I was born, when I put together, united, what makes my body grow? My body grows because no, it's a DNA programming that's in there. Your genetical program that's in there. You put two things together. And there's a program as how this union is going to grow. So you tell me one thing. We got this substance and we put it together. Right? And we got something in our hand, haven't we? And then we divide it in half. The two sides are equal. Is that right? Same thing? And then it grows and we divide it in half. Those two sides are equal. Are all these 4 pieces equal now? Are all the 8 pieces equal? Are all the 16 pieces equal? Are they all the same? We grow and divide, grow and divide, grow and divide. Well, tell me then, how come part of this turns into bone, and part of it turns into skin, and part of this turns into liver, and part of it turns into blood? Where do we get the difference? We started with the same thing, we end up all kinds of different composition of different material. That's your DNA programming. You see, like she said, every brain thinks. I said, no, every cell has intelligence. They have an idea what they're going to be, and they get to be that. And the strangest thing, you see, doctors can take a tissue from the liver and put it into the lung, and it becomes lung tissue. And they can transfer any tissue, any place, and it becomes that, except the brain. Once a neuron, always a neuron. Never changes. That's right. Once a brain cell, always a brain cell.
But not so the other part of the body.
Pardon?
But not so in other parts of the body.
Not so in the part of the body. Up to a certain period of time, then you can't do that. Up to a period of time, you can make the transition back and forth. And they become those things. See? All right. We're off the kilter. Let's get back on what we're doing. We got too much to cover. Remedy magazine, I just picked it up May-June of 1994. You can pass it around, you can read it. Don't steal it. Got an article here, Power of Positive Suggestion. A doctor does surgery and he whispers to the person in a state of hypnosis or a state of anesthetics. He's been put out with a general drug. And he says, you heal fast, you have no pain, you have no difficulty. That's all. And the person comes out of the surgery and they heal faster. They have no pain. One mistake. The next day, a woman somewhat mystically said to the surgeon, I don't understand why he has this little pain. People ask me for painkillers, and I'm not taking them. So this says, that in a state of hypnosis, and the surgeon is using hypnotic suggestions. In this case, at first there was a lot of bleeding. The surgeon says, rather sarcastically, that he thought there wasn't supposed to be so much blood. Because of hypnotic preparation, he says, I whispered instructions to the patient's ear about sending blood away from the area being worked on. It just stopped. It was like turning off a faucet. Send it someplace else, you're losing it. And it stopped. Most clinicians who are using... You see what we got here? Perpetuating of the myth of trance. Once you're in a trance-like state, various suggestions are made about the surgery ahead. Kessler, for instance, always tells people that they will have minimal bleeding loss, little pain, a quick return to appetite and bowel activity, and speedy recovery. What does it feel like? A lot of people think hypnotic trance as a sleep state, which it's not. Hypnosis is a tense focus of releasing. Being in a trance makes ordinary intelligentization get out of the way. You can listen to yourself and summon into a deeper level. The day before the operation, the doctor taught Hansen how to enter a very relaxed, trance-like state, and then made suggestions about her having a speed up. I don't like it. I had an article several years ago from University of Pennsylvania. It was in a paper. And it says, the guy says, I don't believe in hypnosis. Hypnosis doesn't work for anybody. But if you want to be hypnotized, you look for an MD, because that's what he is. I don't understand why hypnosis doesn't work, because it works for me. I said, let me give you a couple of articles on something I wrote on hypnosis. Because I can get people to quit smoking and lose weight and take care of the emotional problems when I put them in a state of hypnosis. Articles, and one article was like a page and a half in the magazine. That's all, page and a half. On that page and a half, he had 126 references. There was more references than the article. I wrote him back and I said, I read your article, I read the references, and I tell you what to do. If you got them, burn them. They're no good. Well, I ran a hypnosis seminar in Newark, New Jersey, and this guy's in Philadelphia. I sent him a letter. I said, I'd like to have you come to the seminar. I said, my guest, free of charge. And maybe if you and I exchange some ideas, we can both become educated to some degree. Would you please come? No response, didn't show up. I ran a seminar in Philadelphia, and that's where he is, at the University of Philadelphia, University of Pennsylvania. I wrote him a letter and I says, I'll be there on this particular time, and you come as my guest. If you'd like to stay at the hotel I'm staying, I'll pay your expenses. The hotel and the meals. Be my guest. I'd like to have you sit down. I said, maybe you and I can exchange some ideas, and maybe I can show you hypnosis really does work. Never came. No ideas. About a month later, he sent me a letter. He says, I would come to your seminar, but I was walking down the street, and his car jumped the curb and hit me and broke my leg. And I was in the hospital. You buy that? All right. Let's get on. What else are we going to talk about? Now we're talking about immune system and drug and alcohol treatment. I would like, if you don't mind, exchange and do the immune system tomorrow, and let's talk about the drug today. Okay. We can get onto the immune system tomorrow just before we do the therapy. And some of you people have problems, and then we can combine getting your immune system to fight your problems and do it all in one time. Let's get the immune system functioning and take care of the problems that you have, and also take care of the cancer patient or whoever else might come here. All right? Drug and alcohol program, a little more complex, a little more complicated, a little lengthier. Okay. When you work with drug and alcohol, because your program is lengthier, it becomes more expensive. More of your time is involved. And listen again to what I've got to tell you. You figure how much time it's going to take you for the program. You multiply the hours by the amount that you want to get paid per hour. If it's $50 an hour, $75 an hour, you're going to put in 16, 17, maybe 18, 20 hours. You multiply by the hour, you say to that person, this is my fee for the whole program. You'll get some idea how many hours we're going to put in here. If you don't, you're never going to get paid. That's right. If they say, well, how about installments, pay as you go? I told you so. And you look back and you said, he's right. And you're going to be sitting with a 2-hour session and no patient. Because they're going to call you 5 minutes before or 5 minutes after and says, I can't make it. My wife didn't come home with the car. And you're expecting to get paid a couple $100. You lost 2 hours and you didn't get paid. If you get paid up front, they're going to be there for every session they paid for. That's right. If you don't, they're going to horse you around, they're going to jump, and it isn't going to be beneficial for you. I got some notes and some checks if you want to buy it. I'll sell it to you. Checks and notes worth 25 cents. I got suckered again. Some guy came in, wanted to quit drinking, and I said, okay, Michael, I said, this is my price, so much. But I came back the next day and we talked. I said, too bad. He said, I've got a good job, worked for this company all this time. He said, got a good credit rating. He said, I'll even give you post-dated checks. Please. If I don't quit the drinking, he says, I'm going to lose my job and my family, everything. Okay, Mike. Not only did I get him to quit drinking, made him more comfortable at work, happy sessions, and he didn't come back. I got a time. He said, well, he says, you know, I'm through. I don't need any more sessions. He said, how much refund do I got coming? And I said, what? I said, the last time you left, I said, when you come back the next time, I want to see a check. Well, he says, I don't need any more treatment. I'm through. I said, what about my balance? Well, he said, I don't have the money, so what? But I'll guarantee you, you're going to make it miserable for everybody else because you're the last. So, got burnt again. Fool me twice, shame on me. That's me. All right. You talk to them, you set your program up. Every person that I see, and I go through the whole thing. The conscious mind feeds and subconscious mind reads. And I go through the whole system up to the point.
There's something wrong with your microphone.
1, 2, 3.
It's fuzzy. It's like my ears are blocked. I'm underwater.
Well, my light is lit. My battery's never loose. Oh, not better? You don't like it? Change my battery, pardon me. Are we better? Okay. Is that better now? All right. Thanks a lot. I'll get you another battery. Oh, you two now. All right. You bring them in. You get all the details about where they live, their work, all these statistical information. How long they've been using the drugs or the alcohol. It's the same treatment. Where they get it, they'll tell you. Chances associated with. Why do they want to make a change? What benefit is there from not to be drinking or using the drugs anymore? What are they looking for? And I say all the time, you make copious notes. You want to tape it and then have it transcribed. But you get it all down. Once you get all this information put together, you tell them what you're going to do. Hypnosis, what you're going to do, how many sessions you're going to have, what you expect of them. You see, in the afternoon. If it's in the afternoon for the first one, early evening is the second session. 2 sessions, same day. Day number 1. And for the next couple of days, 3 days or so, 1 session a day. You tell them in advance. And your time is so much time and so much money, and you're going to get paid right there before you get started. Yes?
How long is each session?
We'll get into it. We got it straight? 3 days, 2 sessions a day. The next couple of days, 1 session a day. You set your calendar and your program up that way. You're going to spend discussing all these things. You see, they had to make a commitment. They had to be motivated. Past experience says if you don't get an advance, you're not going to get paid. Believe me. Day number 1. Day number 1, A session, first session of that. Whatever. Put the hand on towards the forehead. Hey, that's fine. I do that with everybody. Something different than they already know. Day number 1 is and you relax those eyelids and on the script. I have the tape on that same thing too. Goes all the way through the whole chapter. And then you do it again. Progressive relaxation. You just keep on talking, but not quite as fast. Head. Concentrate on your eyelids and eye muscles, and make your eyelids comfortably closed pleasantly. For you is comfortable, pleasant, and peaceful. Go all the way down to the toes. Are stressed out. They haven't relaxed deep inside. So you do the. This time, we're going to do it one more time, but really, you concentrate and follow my suggestions. So once again, you think about your eyelids and your eye muscles. And you may about your eyelids. Restful and relaxing. Eyelids. I mean really. Then when you get done, you'll say, now that you know how to do it, and we've done it twice, what do you say? We do it one more time. It's like a wet rag. You see, you're the boss now. You got your money. For it, they made a commitment, and they're going to follow your instructions. You're not going to be horsed around anymore. You get them back a couple hours after the first. They're back again. They pay. You don't get involved right away. Relaxation again. Completely relaxed. And then in a state of hypnosis. Totally aware, as you got it on script in the chapter. Relax more than they are now. And then you bring him into counting backwards from 100. Now this is the time when you get the first clue as to how deep in hypnosis they are. We don't worry about up to this point. Talk a little faster. So you count backwards from 100. Now while you're counting backwards, Bill, you call him by their first name or Mary or whatever it may be, but you ask ahead of time, is it okay if I call Bill? Shoulders to the elbows, to the wrist, to the finger. Thigh muscle. Arms and legs totally limping, completely relaxed. And as you okay? So you've got to talk a little faster. When a person quits at 95 or up above 95, you got a good subject. If they get below and need some more work to get this person. So 95 and up, good subjects. 90, 95 average, below 90, well, you might have to do a little work. All right. Discussion as to why they want ill. Now, what do you expect to accomplish by this? And you're prod, and you're prod. No, it's not good. What are you talking about? You mean taking... Oh, it's not healthy? Well, tell me, why isn't it healthy for you? Me that it's bad for you? Wow. Gee. And my boss doesn't like it. Any other reason? And all the time you're writing like a speed demon there. Take all the notes. My wife doesn't like it. Oh my God, you mean you're taking your money that belongs to everybody else, you've been blowing it? Their life, they're honest with it. Get in because You see, first session. The first classroom. Technique, A, B's, and C's. And you're going to drop them. In the classroom, besides doing the A, B, C's and the rest of them, you have them get up. I don't do drugs. I don't use alcohol, if you want to put that in there. Why you had them write those up there? Like I and all the things that we... Some of the sentences, some of the ideas you're going to put in there. Because I want you to extend them out, out, out. I am relaxed. That's not enough. I am thoroughly relaxed, completely relaxed. A good person is a competent, a capable bit. You're putting ideas in there. You explain what the sentences mean. The whole thing about it. Progressive relaxation. What a wonderful person. And the library has to be specific. Good can you get it done? You got paid, you better earn your money now. On the right side until they're children or babies. Put them on the other side, not so nice side, the problem side, and you get rid of the problem books. Always a in the discussion, initial hate book. I drink this. I don't have to stand my mother-in-law or something. I drink because I got to get away from something. You got a hate book in there. Maybe you got a fear problem. Maybe a brother or a sister or some other relative. You're going to have what titles? Can be so many. And the I can't. Book. The only books that you page by page. Then you send them home.
Those two, I can't, and excuses.
Make them find out so you don't fall down. First session, day 3. Session. Induction, progressive relaxation, and back to the library. Right side. Books. Good books. Health and happiness, success, desires. You may want to divide the health and happiness. Make one. Now you got.
But the term desire, and
Yes.
positive,
The desire book here for health and happiness and success. Whether the desire is a physical for health and happiness and for success. So that's not a negative one. They may have some negative desires, but you only have a book of the positive desires. Okay? Good question. All right. Yes?
Are these the books that are?
Anything that you want to accomplish, if you think it's important, find a book for it. Give it a title. Keep all the titles as simple. All problem books. When you're through with the ones you described, the ones you named and enumerated, you say, hey, if you got some more problems, why don't you go ahead and clean house? And you'd be surprised how long it's going to take them to do that.
that's on the second day?
That's the second.
That's the second day, second session, when they're on the other side, the not so nice side. All right?
But you don't tell them what they've done, or do you, is that part of it?
You what?
Do you tell them what they've done?
No, not then. You got the good books that you open up. What's in the good?
A record of good experiences.
Got the not so nice experience and thoughts and feelings on the good side of their past, and all of a sudden we unwrap some books. Ooh, nothing. Books. To become a permanent record into these new books that controls the future conduct. That's what you're putting in. So now, in the comfortable chair in the nice little library, you time, they got rid of the problems that they experienced, and they recognize you threw your problems in the container, and your problems are gone. Then we talk about the conscious and subconscious mind. One feeds and one reads and one be talking to the brain. Now the subconscious mind says, hey, it's nice. Mind surgery, wonderful. So pat yourself on the back because you did a nice job. And now you do the testing. Way down there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sessions before you do the testing.
That's on the same day.
The guy will look at you and say, you know, it's my program, you follow it, you get paid. Okay? Your program, you run it the way you want to run it. Now you do the testing. And all hypnotized. That's right. Because after you do the testing, And we're going to do another testing. A false statement. And I said you can't lift your leg and you couldn't. I said you can't see something that was in front of you and you couldn't. If you in today. There's one world program. Then you're home free. Because everything after that is simple. Is getting rid of the problems. Second session, the third day, you do the induction, progressive. If you're good and you've got a good subject, might be able, first session, the orientation, and one of the hundreds, and put it up in the first session. The first and second session. Eliminated that. Then when you get down to the next one, you might take the fourth and put it into the third. Start to consolidate the sessions. In one session. But what have I eliminated? A couple of days.